Doc and Darryl is ESPN's latest 30 for 30 documentary. It premieres tomorrow at 9 p.m. on ESPN. It documents the rise and fall of two Met legends, Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden, and how they are living their lives now.
I want to be able to get my side out, and I know you want to be able to get your side out.
Definitely. Get out there and go.
Because nobody was there with us when we was going through, that everything that we're going through, playing ball and, and having to deal with the, trials and tribulations. And, here we get to sit here and we just get to look at each other and we just get to think about what it was really like.
Wow, look at that. That's fantastic. We are happy to have Darryl Strawberry, our old buddy, join us on set to talk about the documentary. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Good to be with you guys.
Well, let's talk right about this. Are you amazed that after all this time, nationally and locally, there is still such a strong interest in the dynamic and the story of you and Doc?
I'm not really amazed, because of the buzz of the film, the 30 for 30, ESPN, because what we accomplished was great. For the time of us coming here and 1983, me being Rookie of the Year, and 84, Doc coming right behind me, and the Mets really took off from there. It was a different direction with the young players and the veteran players we had with Hernandez, Carter, Ray Knight, and we just kind of like took over the town. We embraced the fact that we were good. There was a lot of pride going through the clubhouse, a lot of craziness going through the clubhouse. As Harp could tell you, he was around there a lot.
We've asked. He won't tell us, but we've asked.
The craziest one of all of them.
He saw a lot of that. He was one of the good guys. He was a good reporter, He was one of our dear friends, and there were guys we liked and there were guys we didn't like in the media. So, you had to deal with our personalities, and we had a lot of personalities.
Straw, I just got to say, watching a video of you in uniform, I forgot how skinny you were as a kid. Man, oh man. Now you're making up for it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, well, you get older. You you eat well. You sleep, and
That's right.
it goes right to your belly.
That's right.
Hey, your relationship with Doc, everybody always thought when you guys were young you were close, just assumed you guys were close, you came up together, but you really weren't that close as players. I think your relationship has evolved over the years. What can you tell us about that?
We were different people, it wasn't about the relationship of friendship. My best friend was Eric Davis, because that's who I grew up with, and we played ball together growing up, and Doc was my teammate. Right. I respect and loved all my teammates because we had to work together, even though we got into dislike here, dislike there. I think they said we were kind of like the Oakland A's of that time, that generation. That's what the Mets were, but when we got on the field, we believed in each other, and our relationship was a little bit different because we went separate ways because we're different people. But, through this film and my dear friend Gary Green coming and asking me and asking Doc, he knows both of us, and he was like, would you guys be really interested in doing this film, 30-30 for ESPN? I said, well, if they do it real, if they do it raw, if they let it be the way it should be, we should talk about who we were and what happened. I would do it. And
so you wanted the truth out there?
I wanted it out there. Yeah, I wanted everybody to see, how difficult it is to be a celebrity, an athlete at the height of your career, playing in New York City, the pressure and the temptations. Because the temptations fell up on both of us. The amphetamines for me, the drugs, the alcohol, the womanizer, all the things I was doing. I was living a lie, and you think it's going to go on forever. And it's not going to go on forever. Eventually, it's going to catch up, and it's going to take you to a place that you don't want to go. And I think a lot of athletes and a lot of Hollywood stars get caught up into these kind of things, and life spins out of control, and they never come back. So this film, this 30 for 30, brought me and Doc back together. Brought us closer together. More than anything. We spend more time, texting and talking than we did in years now.
Well, as well as you've gotten to know him then, Darryl, your recoveries, you and Doc, have taken different paths. You're doing very, very well. He's been open, even with an interview with Harp just within the past month or so, that he's struggled. He's gone back and forth a little bit. And knowing him all these years, why do you think that it's been a little different for the two of you since those days?
Well, I think what happens is when you struggle in recovery, which we all do until we get to that place where we really change, and you have to find a different foundation for yourself. I was able to find a different foundation in marriage and family and kids, and surrounding myself around different things. I think if you don't surround yourself around different things, you're going to go back to the old things, because the lifestyle is still there. They're still embedded in you. And I think the difference is what happened to me. I finally got to the place where I took the uniform off. There's no more Mets, there's no more Yankees, there's no more Dodgers, Giants that I played for. the last name on the back is still the same, Strawberry. I need to deal with the man now. You know, I was a baseball player, but I was never a man. Just because I played baseball didn't make me a man. I think a lot of times we think baseball makes a guy a man, and I wasn't. I had to grow up. I had to learn to grow up. I had to believe what life had a purpose for me, and I needed to step into that. If you never take off that uniform, that's all you continue to wear, and that's all you continue to see.
I like that. You mentioned this a minute ago. You and Doc had not been in touch a lot. This brought you back together. What was it like seeing him after all this time? And, you know, you're not here just saying, you know, hi, goodbye. You're getting very deep into a lot of stuff from your past, and a lot of it's very painful. What was it like seeing him, and did it start off awkward?
Well, it did. It started off strange, you know, but it was good. It was good to be there because we know each other. You know, it's not like we don't know each other. Oh, you know, we got a lot of history together.
But when you say start off strange, you guys weren't opening up at first, or you were just sort of feeling each other out?
We were just kind of, you know, just casually having a conversation. And then we really, the producer wanted us to really get into some details of things. And we started to get into some details of things and deal with some things, you know. Doc is like family to me, you know. He's not a stranger to me, regardless of, you know, it's just like a brother, you know. If you got a broken relationship, you got to come together and you got to mend it back together. And for us to sit down and actually talk about some real hard things, you know, of him maybe thinking, you know, that I was the one ratted him out. You know, it talks about that in the film. He asked me about ratting him out. Was I would have run ratted him out? The commissioner office had came to one of our teammates and said, well, there's one of your black stars on your team has a cocaine problem. And it was, and I got approached by Ray Knight, and he asked me the question. I said, it's not me. So they said I ratted Doc out. There's only 2 black stars on the team. You know?
Right, but you can't sit there and say, I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah, but I never said that it was him. I said it wasn't me. So they. Hello, you can get the answer right there clearly. Yeah. How many stars was it at that time on the team that were black? Me and Doc. Mookie was on the team, but Mookie was not. Mookie was a wholesome guy, right. You know, so they would never look at him. So obviously they were looking at me and Doc at that time, and it turned out to be him at that time. But I wasn't the one to rat him out. I just had to get that straight with him and let him know I never threw you under the bus.